Hello, back to Irish Football Fan TV. We're delighted to be here with our first episode of Girls in the Game, and I'm joined by Republic of Ireland women's record goal scorer Olivia O'Toole and my co-host Olivia. How are you?
Hey Paul, thanks very much for having me on the podcast. I'm really looking forward to it. And it's called Girls in the Game, and I like the name because it's for everyone on the podcast, all girls. And I'm really, really excited to introduce our first guest, one of Ireland's unbelievable players, Denise O'Sullivan.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. How you doing?
Hey Denise.
Yeah, well, we're delighted to have you. You've called all the way in from USA, so we really appreciate your time, and we kind of wanted to hit the first episode with a bit of a bang, so we thought who else but to get than yourself. So yeah, how's things over in the States?
Yeah, pretty good. In pre-season right now. It's always tough in pre-season, so just the first weekend, legs are a bit shot. Weekend off, and yeah, ready to get the season going, to be honest.
And that's brilliant, Denise. You're back into it, and you have a camp next week, so you're getting ready.
Yeah, getting ready for that. I think the most important thing for me right now in pre-season is just to get up to game fitness again. I think just work hard and yeah, be focused going into that camp and get my fitness levels up.
Great, Denise, because you'll be in very soon. Denise, can we just go back to like when you started playing football and when you got an interest in it?
Yeah, from a very young age. I think it all came from my family. Really, I'm the youngest of 10. 5 girls, 5 boys. My brothers played football growing up. One of my brothers has a few caps for the junior international Irish team. So yeah, I played street football from when I was 5 years old, all the way through. I think every single day, you wouldn't get me off the streets. I was out there for hours upon hours, playing with my brothers, all the boys. I'd be the only girl. And then I joined my first team when I was I think I was about 7 years old. I joined New Farm Boys down in Knocknaheeny. Absolutely loved playing for the boys. I think it's really helped me develop over the years, and it got me to where I am today now. And then I went on to join Wilton United girls team. Fantastic experience there. A lot of great coaches helped me with my journey. Played with the Cork women's team when the National League came to Ireland. Played with them for a while. We had an unbelievable team. That was a great experience. And then I decided in 2013 that it was kind of time to move on from Ireland and face the challenge of leaving home. I think that was the first thing that I had to do, leaving my family, and I went on to join Glasgow City. And from there, my whole career just went uphill, and obviously some challenges along the way, but went on to Houston Dash, and I'm with my club, North Carolina Courage. I'm with them for 8 years.
Brilliant, Denise, brilliant. When you were playing with your brothers, like Canada, that's nearly a football team. So did they hold back when you were playing against them, the 50-50s, and did they define you, like, as you were growing up, with your toughness and your passion for the game?
100%. Yeah, they never held back. None of the boys did, even when I went on to play with New Farm Boys, playing against different teams. They didn't hold back, and I didn't want them to. I think the pace of the game, I think the speed of the boys, I think the physicality really, really helped me develop. And I think that's where I get my technical ability from, my passion, I think my tenacity on the pitch. I think that's where I get it from, was really from those roots of playing with the boys. And my brothers pushed me every single day. I think they came to every single game, and one of my brothers, David, I used to tell him like F off at the time, but he used to scream at me in games, and he used to try and coach me. So they were always supportive, but always pushing me and pushing me on. So I did really appreciate that.
Can I just come in there just on your biggest kind of influences growing up? Obviously your brothers and stuff like that, but who were the players maybe that you kind of fell in love with? Obviously Roy Keane's huge down in Cork. Was he a big influence, or who were the ones mainly for you?
Yeah, I definitely, you hit the nail on the head there. I think Roy Keane was massive for me. I think obviously being from Cork, lived 10 minutes away from me, midfield. I used to love watching him play, and I wanted to be like Roy Keane. I wanted to play like Roy Keane. So he was definitely a massive influence, and great character as well. Love his personality. So yeah, he was someone I always looked up to and watched and wanted to learn from.
He actually kind of, I know you're from North Cork, and he's kind of said it was quite hard to kind of get to join different teams just purely because of where he was from in Cork. Did you ever have that growing up?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously growing up in Knocknaheeny, the closest girls team to me was about 25 minute drive. And that's one of the reasons I did join the boys team, was because it was only a 5-10 minute walk from my home, and I was able to do that at the time, you know. And my mom and dad, obviously having 10 kids, didn't have the time, didn't have the money to be able to do everything that I wanted to do. So I think, yeah, it was definitely a challenge to be able to get to places. And I am very grateful for my mom and dad. They've done so much for me growing up when they had so little, and I am where I am today because of them. And of course, other coaches and a lot of coaches in Cork helped me at that time as well when my parents couldn't do it. They picked me up and gave me spins to places. They helped financially, like everything. So I do really appreciate a lot of people that have helped me on my journey.
Well, you were talking about Roy Keane. Like, Denise, I don't know whether you noticed, I call you a female equivalent of Roy Keane because you have the drive and the passion. But to be from the same county and he's down the road, like, as you know, Roy Keane's a legend. But you're a legend now in your own right as well. So I'd love to see the two of you meet and see, you know, the conversation. I'd say it'd be good, you know.
100%, yeah. I'd love to meet him. I never actually met Roy Keane.
Really?
And that's something yeah, it's something I still want to do someday, and hopefully that happens. But yeah, I really looked up to him. I think he's a legend, and still watching him on TV now. He's fantastic. He's just so honest, and I really appreciate that when someone's just honest and themselves, you know. Especially nowadays where it's scary to be yourself and speak up in the public eye and just get judged. I really appreciate that, and I respect it massively.
Yeah, I respect him for that myself as well, because he is so honest in his punditry if he's talking about something. And I love the fact that he tells it as it is. You know, he doesn't
100%.
beat around the bush.
Yeah.
The thing I want to touch on, Denise, is you said you moved away from Cork and you went to Glasgow. Can you tell us a bit about your time at Glasgow?
Or even just kind of moving over from Cork, and what was the initial kind of moving away from family and stuff? Because obviously your family were a huge kind of influence.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was back in 2013 when I decided to make the move. I was obviously playing in Ireland at the time. As I said, a big home bird, obviously surrounded by 9 of my siblings and 2, my mum and dad, who were absolutely amazing and supportive and done everything. They went above and beyond for me at the time. So I think leaving that was very, very hard, and it was scary at the time. And I always remember, it's a story. The Glasgow City manager at the time, Eddie Wallace-Back is his name. He used to call my house to try and speak to me, and I used to tell my dad at the time, I'm not answering the phone, so just tell him I'm not here. And that went on, honestly, like it's mad, but that went on for weeks, of where I just said, no, I'm not answering the phone, just tell him I'm not here, I don't want to speak to him, because it was just such a scary thing for me to even think about leaving. And then yeah, just one night, it was my dad, he always stayed up late watching TV, like 2 a.m. in the morning, and I went down to him at around 1 a.m. and I said, Dad, I think I'm ready. And it was that late in the morning. I just woke up, so I was clearly thinking about it so much, and went down and spoke to my dad about it and said, I think I'm ready to make the move. So yeah, the next day got in touch with the manager, and that's when we got talking, and I signed the contract, and then moved over there in 2013. But it was something I needed. I think if I didn't do that at the time, I don't believe I would have left, you know. So it was the hardest thing I ever had to do, but it was definitely worth it. And once I got over to Glasgow, it was a stepping stone in the right direction for me. At the time, the league was a big step up. I became independent quickly. I had no other choice. So it really was a great experience, and the club was fantastic to me as well.
Yeah, well, I was thinking that the club could have been good to you because your stats while you were over there is unbelievable. Like, what's
Yeah,
33 and
43
65.
and
yeah, I was a
Denise?
striker then.
Yeah,
I
absolutely
know.
brilliant. And
Yeah,
like
it was.
anywhere you've gone on loan, you've done brilliant.
Yeah, it was a really good time. I was once I got into the league, I started to just become confident. I think it was a step up, and it made me better. And obviously playing the number 9 position at the time, yeah, scored a lot of goals. Um, just got better as
Assists.
an all-round player. Had a lot of assists, yeah, at the time, and it was definitely a fantastic step up.
Yeah, just on that, like, did you feel kind of at the end of that season then that you were kind of outgrowing that league because your stats were so good? I think it's nearly a goal every 2 games or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't want to sound arrogant and say I outgrown the league, but because I think so many people helped me there, and that's why I became the player, and that's why I was getting all those stats and those goals, was because of the coaches I had around me. It was because of the players I had around me. So yeah, I guess I just needed a new challenge, I would say. I don't think I outgrew the league. There was a lot of amazing players there, but I definitely just needed something else. I think my time just came to an end there, and it was it was time for me to move on and just challenge myself even more, I would say.
Yeah, I was going to say you needed a new challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously a new challenge was you moved to the USA.
Denise, sorry, it's just, again, you're moving even further away. I know Glasgow's not that far, but how was the kind of initial conversation of moving then to the USA before you moved there?
It was another massive challenge again. Yeah, thinking about it now, I don't know why I felt comfortable enough to, move that far away, because I found it so difficult to leave Cork, and that's only an hour, less than an hour flight to Glasgow. But I just felt like in 2015 played a game in America with the national team, and I loved the experience of it. I think playing in the stadium that was packed, unbelievable players, a league that was so athletic, so competitive. It just became something that I wanted to do. Um, so playing in that game, I think that was the first thing that really pushed me to play there. And yeah, I think I got spotted in that game by the Dash, and that became a conversation with my representative at the time, and yeah, they had to buy me out of my contract in the end. Obviously very small fee at the time, but I think it was the first buyout for Glasgow, so it was definitely a massive move for me. And obviously my dad passed away at the time as well, just like a week before I was supposed to go to Houston, so that was the most challenging time in my life. Being able, like, just getting up and leaving family at that time was really, really difficult. But again, it's something that stood to me once I done it. I think I became stronger from it. I learned from the experience. I became even more independent then by doing that. And I think my game just went up and up when I went to the US.
I didn't know that about your dad, so sorry to hear about that. But you must be
That's
very proud of
okay.
yourself to go from kind of such a young person to kind of go over there and make a career. I'm sure he's really proud of you anyway.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was definitely a difficult time, but my dad was actually here for when the negotiations were going on with Houston, and speaking to him the whole time about it. He knew how much I wanted it, and he pushed me to do it in the end. He said, "You need to go and do it. Like, I want you to do it." So I think that's the reason that I did go and do it in the end. As much it was hard to leave my mom and all my siblings, but it was incredible in the end. Yeah.
Your dad, my dad was my mentor too. It was like they put your arm around you, they give you good advice. And he told me not to mind anybody, just do what you want to do. And it's great advice because it's coming from your father,
Right.
like, and
Yeah.
be very proud of yourself, Denise. Absolutely.
No, for sure. Yeah, my dad was someone I think I looked up. As you said, it's coming from your dad. It's like the biggest supporter in your life. He was definitely growing up. He pushed me. He used to wake me up at 8 a.m. in the morning on the weekends to get me out jogging. Like, I'm serious. He used to bring me to the parks, and he used to walk, and I would jog. And he just really inspired me and pushed me to be the best. And I think, yeah, I have a lot to thank him for sure. And my mom and all the rest of my family as well.
Brilliant. Denise, when you went, what was the attraction to go to Houston Dash? Like, was it Rachel Daly?
Honestly, I don't even know. I think I might have known Rachel at the time, like heard of her, but didn't obviously have any personal connection to Rachel or Knew she was a great player, but I think my attraction was to the league overall. I don't think it was to Houston Dash, but that was just the opportunity that came about for a team to in the league, and I immediately said yes. I just think it was a massive step up. I think it was going to push me on in my game, and I was only with Houston for like a year and a half, and things ended then, and they put me on the wave list, which you probably don't know what that means here in this league, but it's a list where you go on if the team pretty much cuts your contract, and within 24 hours of them putting you on the waiver list, another team from the league can come in and get you. So I was on the way to Germany. I was almost about to sign a contract with Germany, a German team at the time, and I was sitting in Chicago having a coffee because I wasn't with the Dash anymore, and my phone rang, and it was the Courage, and they said, we picked you up on the waiver list and we want you to come here. They said it's going to be hard, but you will get game time if you work extremely hard. And it took me a while, but I eventually broke into the team, and as a number 10 at the beginning, I was with the Courage, and I just wasn't, truthfully, I wasn't assisting, I wasn't scoring in the league. So the coaches pulled me in for a meeting, and they said, look, if you're going to be a number 10 here, we need you to be scoring. We need you to be assisting. They were very brutally honest, and they said, we're going to give you an opportunity in the number 6 role. So yeah, I always remember my first game against Seattle, and it was very scary because the number 6, you're pretty much, the build-up play is going through you, and you're closer to the goal. So any mistakes you make, it could be an opportunity for them to score. So it was a scary transition, but that's where I still play now for the Courage, and I absolutely love it.
We were actually talking about before on air about Busquets. Maybe you're the Busquets for the Courage.
Breaking lines. Yeah, I love it.
Denise, can I just ask about the waiver thing? Do you get a choice of a team that you go to, or they pick you?
It's very different now because we've obviously a new CBA, and you can pick where you want to go pretty much. You can't be traded anymore in the league, so a massive step in the right direction there. But back then, the league was completely different, and yeah, I didn't have a choice. So when the Dash told me they wanted to put me on the waiver list, which I went to them and said, look, I'm not happy here. I'm not getting game time. I don't see myself really developing here. And they said, all right, we're going to put you on the waiver list. So they did, and within that 24 hours, any team can come in and pick you up. So thankfully for me, it was the Courage, because it was the best move of my life, but it could have been another team as well. So I didn't really have any say over it. You just had to go where you go. So I was packing my bags the next day to get on a flight to North Carolina, which was crazy. It's crazy to think of, but
yeah, the way it happens.
Yeah, gladly now everything's changed, and players have control and control of where they want to go, you know.
And just on your loan moons, Denise, do you think they made you stronger, sharper? Did you learn from the loan spells that you had?
Yeah, I've had quite a few, I guess, loan spells. Obviously Brighton, I was there for a few months, and that was back when, trying to think now, when COVID happened, and I was with the Courage, and we had very important games coming up for our national team, and the league just stopped here in America, so I had to do something. And yeah, I think it definitely helped me. I think going to get a taste of playing in the English league, it was many years ago now, so obviously it's much better these days, but it was a fantastic experience. It was a great club to go to, so I think it definitely helped me. And I think I went on loan as well to some Australian Western Sydney Wanderers. I played for Canberra in Australia, and I'll do that again any day. That was class. I think Australia is just unbelievable, and just training and playing over there was great, and just to keep me ticking over during the off seasons, I think it really helped.
I was gonna say, because I think the loan moves would have to tie into international football as well. So kind of, at the end of the season and wanting to keep sharp. So obviously that's what you did.
Yeah, exactly. And that was, at the time, that's something I wanted to do. I think, obviously being younger as well, you just want to keep playing, and the off season back then in America, I think it was 4 months long. So like, that's incredibly long to not play, So
it's
yeah,
like the League of Ireland a bit, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I needed to play, and I think I went to Australia on a guest contract, which is 7 games, which was perfect. It was like 2 months out of my off season here in America, so just got games under my belt. Was able to explore Australia, had training every day in the sun. It was really nice.
I love the fact that as well that you're with NC Courage, you're the captain, you've got MVP. Like, I mean, you're actually running the show there. Like, I've watched it on telly. Seen your assists, I seen your goal as well. Like, I mean, it's like the perfect team for you, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
100%. As I said, coming to the Courage was the best thing that ever happened to me. I think that move. I think when I came here first, it was a bit of a shock to the system. I think the biggest thing about the Courage is the training environment, and the standards and the level of training is unbelievable here. Like every single day, you're going to be put through your paces, and it's really a challenging environment. And I had to break into the team. It took me half a year to be able to do that because we had players. We had Dabinia, we had Sam Lewis, we had Crystal Dunn, we had Lynn Williams, we had Jess McDonald. So we had like World Cup winners. We had best players in the world in the team at the time. And I'm a young 22-year-old coming in naive, not really knowing what to expect. And like doing a simple passing pattern here was very difficult for me because you had to be 2 steps ahead from what they done. So it was a big challenge, but as soon as I changed and switched to a number 6, I think that's where my game just went up. And yeah, we as a team, like we build through, as you said earlier on, breaking lines, we build through the blocks. It really suits my game. I get on the ball a lot. I'm the builder of the team along with our other number 6. Everything kind of goes through us. So it's really nice, and I think still the next step I want to take and something I want to improve on with this team is getting further up the pitch and scoring more and assisting more. I'm still not happy about that. I don't do it enough, but as a number 6 here, I'm kind of the anchor, and I allow other players to kind of go on in front of me, and we have world class players in front that can do that job. So I'm more of the sitting player, but in terms of me personally growing and for national team as well, I would like to score and assist more, you know.
Yeah, so do we all, but I mean, you can't do everything.
Can I just come in there, Denise? It's just on, obviously, you're there and you said you're playing with kind of all these players internationally who would have been playing in tournaments. And I know we have there about, Rachel Daly was your team. I think she won the Euros with England. And you're seeing her doing that. And then obviously our international team hadn't qualified or anything like that. But I thought it was kind of about that, I suppose, progression from the Irish team. Probably, well, not the whole way through, but from around that time, kind of you were using that as inspiration. Obviously, we came close in qualification. You obviously qualified for the World Cup, but just from your own point of view to see kind of how much Ireland have progressed from that kind of period.
Yeah, I think obviously we've progressed massively. I think, as you said, watching me being surrounded by these players that go to major tournaments every few years and don't really have any issues or any barriers getting in. You know what I mean? Looking at that, it was difficult for me, and it was motivation for me to help my country do that. And I think from then we've come on heaps and bounds, but I still think obviously not qualifying for Euros now again, it's like we have a long way to go still, do you know what I mean? But being able to do that and qualify for our first major tournament was a dream come true. It was something I always wanted to do with Ireland, and really glad that we were able to do that. But then moving on from that, you want to get to a Euros, and that was the next step for us, and that was just a big blow not to do that. I'm still not over it, but it just goes to show that you can make a World Cup, and then you think you're making massive steps, and then just going one step backwards again when you don't make a Euros. It's a big blow for us, but yeah, the motivation levels are are a bit low, I would say right now, but I just want to kind of get back in again and get working with the team. And the next thing to look at now again is a World Cup. But yeah, not making that Euros was just it was heartbreaking. Yeah.
Olivia's going to bring you back to a better moment that'll bring you back to life.
The famous assist in Scotland.
Yeah.
Can you actually talk us through the moment you see Amber, you get the ball. Can you just bring us back to what's running through your mind from someone who's there, who made that goal essentially?
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible feeling. I just remember it was a very transitional game at the time, very tough game, physical battle, and I just remember the ball, Nia Fahy, just as she does, composed with that little header down to me. I just remember the first thing I had to do was get turned up, faced up, and once I was able to do that, I just seen that run from Amber Barrett, an excellent run, off the shoulder of the defender, and my instant thought was, I just need to get this ball behind, no matter what. If it goes behind, Amber will get there, and I did. I done that, and yeah, I think her first touch was probably the most important part of it all, because she just set herself up, and once she took that first touch, I knew the ball was going in the back of the net, and yeah, it was just an unbelievable moment, and the celebration, even how Amber celebrated that, it was very emotional, but a really special time, and yeah, it was unbelievable.
And the scenes after between even yourself, Olivia, and the players was brilliant to see.
Oh yeah, I mean, seeing Olivia there, I mean, we got to this stage, we got to a World Cup, of course, by winning that night, but players like Olivia, I think seeing Anya there, I think Stephanie Roche, and a lot of other players as well, Cara Grant, Yvonne Tracy,
Emma Byrne, I think, was there too.
Emma Byrne, yeah. There's a lot, and I can't name them all, but those women, like, we got to that tournament because of them and because of what they done for us before that, and just to see them in the crowd, it was really special, and I think that's why a lot of us ran to Olivia to celebrate at the end, and because they stood up, they done what's right for the national team, and that's why where we are today is because of those women.
Thanks very much, Denise. But you just made my football career come in a 360 when you passed that ball. Because when you passed that ball, we were all, we knew, it's like we just knew.
Yeah.
All of the parents, all the supporters just sitting there. It's when you looked up and when you found that pass, and as you said, when Amber took that first touch, I knew straight away I was in.
Yeah.
A first touch. If that had went any way, left or right, she wouldn't have scored.
100%.
But it went straight into, and when she scored, as you said, the emotion of it all, it's overwhelming, knowing that you're going to a World Cup.
Well, we didn't know at that point. It wasn't.
Well, I mean,
I know.
You know.
I keep forgetting about
it was
that.
tense the last
About
few minutes.
that part, you know, that we were still waiting on results, right?
Yeah,
Isn't
that's
that
right. At the end of the
I
game.
know. I forget that part, honestly, but hey, it didn't matter in the end. But yeah, it was an unbelievable night, and just like a feeling of pride, just that you've done your country proud, like all
That's
those
what I
fans
felt.
that-
I felt
yeah.
so much pride in you on the pitch, and I got emotional. But I don't think I was the only one that got emotional that night. I think the whole of Ireland was crying that night because of the magnitude of the win, the way it happened. There was only 5 minutes left in the game, so it was so overwhelming. And me to look at you and see you, what you are trying to do the last 15 years, and it came true. And I was just so happy for you.
100%.
And Anya, Louise, Niamh, Diane, when you all come over, I just broke down because I knew how much it meant to so many of you.
Yeah, 100%. It was incredible. And as I said, it was just a feeling of like pride, and all those fans that showed up for us, still show up for us every day. And the young kids that have been watching us and are still watching us, just to do that, and for them to see that there is a possibility, there is an opportunity to get to a World Cup. It was really special, and that's why I think not making the Euros, I know I keep going back to that, but that feeling of the World Cup that night and doing everyone proud, and then the opposite of not getting to the Euros and disappointing the whole country was one of the worst nights, I think, of my career, for sure.
Yeah, but I think it actually just gives you more motivation to get through to another tournament.
100%.
Because that's the way that's the way what you want to do. You want to get to another tournament. You'll cry and you'll mourn that for about 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Once you get back into the camp, you know what your job is, and that'll go back into the back of your head, and then you know what you have to focus on.
Focus on the next thing, yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's what the team did against, wasn't it, Ukraine?
Yeah,
They're disappointed in that, and then took that motivation into qualifying for the World Cup then. So hopefully we can do it again.
Yeah, for sure. That's the next goal now. We have a taste now of what it's like to be at a major tournament. So as professional football players, that's what you want. You want to be at the highest level. You want to be playing against the best players in the world. And once you get one bit of a taste of that, you want to keep doing it. And that's definitely the focus now.
Well, I think even in the men's game, like a lot of the players, they said, like, we felt as though even when we qualified in 2002 that was going to be a regular thing. So qualifying for tournaments, some people might think from the outside it's easy, but it's not. Like, not many Irish teams have qualified for too many World Cups. And that team from 2022 was like the first of the Irish women's team. Like, we've only qualified, I think, 3 World Cups as men, so it's like 4 in total.
Yeah, exactly. It's not easy at all. It's not easy at all to do it. A country like Ireland, we're making massive strides, but as you said, we haven't qualified for many major tournaments. But no, I think because we done it once, we have a lot of attention. We have a lot of eyes on us now.
There's a lot of expectation as well.
Yeah, there's a lot more expectation, and we're expected to do it every time. And look, that's fair enough. It's something that we have to deal with and we have to be better at,
Yeah, it comes with the territory. But I want to bring you back to when you went back to Cork after qualifying for the World Cup. So I know you had a bit of a homecoming before heading over to Australia. What was that like for you? Because I think your whole family and the whole of North Cork were there.
Oh, it was overwhelming. Yeah, it was mental, honestly. I mean, I appreciated my family doing that, because they weren't able to come to the World Cup. It was financially a lot of money, so they weren't able to be able to be there. But so they wanted to do that homecoming for me because they couldn't be at the World Cup, and I really appreciated that. And there was a lot of organising going into that. I think there was a pipe band and everything there. Like, I was mortified, but no,
actually, it looked brilliant.
It was really class. It was, and I mean, growing up in Knocknaheeny, I think I can take a lot from that, and the people that have been on the journey with me, a lot of people in Knocknaheeny helped me. So to be able to do that and to be able to see the joy from them being there and sending me off, it was very, very special, and it's definitely a memory that I will never forget.
Did you feel like when we qualified for the World Cup, the media shifted towards, like, it was different, it was too much, or it was less? What was it, Denise?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it shifted a lot. I think in a positive way. I think it's something we never experienced before as players. As I said, more eyes on us once we qualified for that tournament. A lot more expectation, but that's what it comes with it. It comes with being a professional footballer. Like, it's something you have to deal with, and I think it's a very positive thing. For more media to be involved, for now the national team to be in the public eye a lot more. I think we have a lot more attention, and sometimes it's negative, but as players, we know how much support we get. We really appreciate the support, and I think sometimes it can be stressful, but it's just part and parcel of the game, and it's for me, it's a good thing. It's going in the right direction.
Would you be used to the media, Denise, in America? Because I know the Americans love intruding in people's lives and what have you, like, you know what I mean? So
I think, I mean, it's different. I think the media over here, we do get a lot of attention in terms of the league in a whole, but I think for myself, like, not really. You know what I mean? I'm kind of, maybe it would be different if I was in England. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of away from it all, in my own little world over here. But I think that it's massive. The investment is massive in this league. A lot more media now involved. But I think it's different with national team for sure.
No, because like your team, North Carolina, I find you get an awful lot of media, like reporters want to be, get an interview with you right after the game, and where it doesn't happen here,
Yeah, for sure. I think we get a lot of media at games. I mean, when we travel away, I think there's 25,000 fans at some games, 30,000. You're always more than likely expected to do an interview after games, and I think it's pretty standard. It's what it should be. It's pretty normal. But yeah, there is a lot more investment, a lot more eyes on this league now. So I'd say the media has definitely gone up a lot, and for the Courage as well. I think in terms of clubs, I think we're probably a bit smaller in terms of how many people show up to our games and media because of our attendances at games. But I'm still expected as a captain. I have a lot of responsibilities and duties as a captain to take part in those interviews and media and stuff, and it's just another day for me now.
It's natural to you now.
Yeah, pretty much. I think being captain, you learn all those things every single day, and you do have a lot more responsibility on your shoulders, and it's something I really love. I love being captain of the team. I think, but I've learned a lot as well. It's been a big challenge. It's not all positive. Like, it's been difficult at times, where I really have been challenged, and I think it's sometimes difficult to be a captain. I think I lead by example. That's my kind of qualities as a captain. I just lead by example, and I'll always be there for the players no matter what. It's players first for me. But I'm not a very vocal person. I'm not very outspoken. So I think like the difficult things for me are the small things like speeches and all that stuff. Like before the game, trying to motivate players. Like, I'm not very vocal at all. So I find that the more difficult thing for me. But I think I'm a leader in how I play, how professional I am, how hard I work, being there for the players when they need me to be, and being a voice between the players and the coaches. I think I do that well, and that's the most important thing for me. I think, yeah, the best leaders are the ones who lead by example and push your teammates on when needs be.
Yeah, well, that's so you don't always have to be vocal to be a great captain.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it's completely different. If you have different personalities, different passion for the game. Me personally,
sure.
I think you're a fantastic captain.
Thank you.
Absolutely, 100%.
That was back to that. Can I just take you back to the actual World Cup itself? I definitely noticed the shift kind of being within the media and stuff like that, the media day and stuff like that. It was great to see the women getting, I suppose, the exposure to that, which was well deserved. But what was the World Cup like from kind of your point of view? I know you had the injury quite early on and we were all scared. I know you were saying it even when we were.
Scar.
So kind of from your point of view, how was the World Cup?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. It was a fantastic experience. I think it's something that you always wanna be part of, but we also went in there not knowing what to expect. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't know what it was like to be at a World Cup, but to be there and walk out against Australia in front of 80,000 people, it was one of the most special days of my life. And that night in Perth against Canada, I mean, 80% of the stadium was green. So it was one of the best experience ever, but it was also tough, and it was a lot of expectation. It's not all positive, you know what I mean? Like, we were happy to be there, and it was an excellent experience, but also it was a lot of pressure. It was a lot of expectation, and that just comes with it. But I think all around my experience was really, really good. And obviously I had that injury beforehand, and that scared the life out of me as well, thinking my World Cup was coming to the end even before it started. It was a very scary thing, but
I think you scared the whole of Ireland.
Yeah.
Because the minute the news came out, I was like talking and I was like, what, Denise is injured, what's wrong? She's not going. The first thing I heard was, you're not going to the World Cup, because we heard it was so bad. But then when we seen the video, oh my God, absolutely disgraceful tackle.
Yeah, it was an interesting game, I must say.
It didn't last too long, the game, did it?
No.
It didn't. No, I don't even know what minute it was, because I was on the way to the hospital, but it was just a bit crazy. I was very over the top physical, I would say, and
very
like,
over
even
the top.
before my tackle happened, like, there was a tackle on Rusha that was quite bad, and it was just like, why are you kind of doing that? It's before one of the biggest tournaments of both teams' lives, and yeah, it was just a high tackle on me, and in the end, it was only a bone bruise, but the most painful bone bruise I've ever had in my life. And I thought my World Cup was coming to the end even before it started. But luckily, I was fine, got scans, and I was able to be there with my team. And yeah, overall, it was a really good experience, I would say.
But probably like if she'd have hit you in another place, she could have broke your leg.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, exactly.
It was just, when I seen it, I was like, why is she tackling like that 2 weeks before a World Cup?
Yeah, but they didn't seem to care because they came out, they were quite outspoken after the game and stuff like that. So they seemed like there was something there. But I suppose you spoke about having 25, even away fans, 25,000. So you must have been in some ways kind of used to big crowds compared to maybe some of our other Irish players.
Yeah, definitely. I think coming from the US and a lot of games here, as I said, we play against 25,000. So I was definitely used to it, but for other players, maybe not, you know what I mean? And that can go one way or the other. But for me, I think I get motivated by bigger crowds. I think some people might go in their shell a little bit. It all depends on the player. But yeah, for me, it was fantastic to have that much support and walking out in front of 80,000 fans, no matter who they are, Irish or Australian, just playing in front of that crowd was really special. It just pushes me on even more as a player.
Yeah, you spoke kind of about being a captain, obviously, the courage, but were there a lot of players leaning on you in that moment?
Yeah, I think a lot of the younger players, and look, with Ireland, we have there is captains, but we have a lot of leaders on the team, a lot of experienced players were at that World Cup, and I think a lot of young players leaned on a few of us and just having not too much, just like little conversations here and there to make sure they're okay and just checking in with them and that kind of stuff. But yeah, being in a major tournament like that can be a lot of pressure for a young player, and I think just to be there for them was the most important thing.
You're the leader now to them younger players like Abby Larkin, Izzy Atkins. Do they come over and ask you some stuff, Denise, like, see, they all right,
Yeah. Still to this day, I think Abby and Izzy, I have chats with them and a lot of the younger players on the team. I think it's very important to do that, because when I was years old, coming into the national team, it was scary, it was intimidating, and you want those kind of senior players there for you. I wanted that when I was younger, and I got that, luckily. But now it's my turn to be that kind of leader and in that role and be there for the younger players. So yeah, I still have chats with the younger players. I still want them to be involved as much as possible, and I want them to be able to have confidence to come to me and speak to me and ask me any questions,
Yeah, because that's what they need. They need the likes of you to speak to, because they've no one else, do you know what I mean? Because they go to the senior players to ask for advice, and especially coming out in the first World Cup game with 80,000 people.
It is daunting, it can be scary, and as I said, yeah, that's our role now. It's my role as a senior player, as a leader in the team. That's my responsibility to be able to have those conversations and just make those players that bit more comfortable.
How did you think we played against Canada, Australia and Nigeria? Like, how do you think we paired with them? Like, me personally, the first game, I thought we should have got something out of the game.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was a very close game. I think we stood up to them. I think we stood our ground against them. I didn't think we were too far behind any of the teams, to be quite honest. I think we were very close. But again, we lacked that quality in front of goal at the World Cup. You could see it, we lacked that final pass, I feel like. And obviously being at our first tournament as well, it was a different experience for us. It comes with a lot of pressure. But I do think we stood our ground against those teams, and Australia beat us by have a penalty kick. So and then going on to the Canada game, it was still again we went up a goal, and I think we were close to all the teams. But again, it was our first major tournament, didn't have that experience, and that again, I think we lacked that ability in front of goal.
Unlucky though, I would say, in terms of like the own goal. Very unlucky. But people might say our goal was lucky, but what was it like when Katie scored? Because the scenes looked unbelievable. But like, to be a player on the pitch, witnessing the first hand, what was it like? It actually kind of shows on your face a little bit when you smile.
Yeah, I always remember that. It's a moment that would stick out for all the players. I think it was when Katie scored that goal. It was really special for the first goal at a Women's World Cup. You know, for an Ireland player, it was electric, and that stadium that night was insane. Like, it was the majority of Irish people, and they cheered us on. It was a very intimate stadium, very close knit, so you can hear every single thing going on in there, and all the Irish songs being sang. It was very special, and just being able to run towards that Irish, all those Irish fans when Katie scored and celebrate together as a team. It was class.
I was in the middle of them.
I bet you were.
Yeah, it was absolutely, as Paul says, the first Irish woman to score in a World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So we did get to celebrate something, you know. So as you said, the songs was flying around the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It was like an Ireland home game.
It was. And everyone, like my partner was there, and he was like, Denise, that was just like insane. It was an insane moment. That whole game was fantastic, even though we lost and we were incredibly disappointed. But to have those fans so far away from home be there, it was just like, it was an eye opener. It was like, the women's football is growing. Like, this is what we want. This is what we want going forward. And it was a pinch me moment for sure.
That's the game that'll stick out to everybody, I think, from the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
But the one the Nigerian game, the aftermath of what happened.
Yeah.
I just think that the outrage that happened, it really deflected from a good performance against Nigeria, I think, as well.
Yeah, it did. Look, and those things happen. I mean, yeah, we put in a good performance. I think we got our first point at a World Cup. You know, it was really special, even though very disappointed that we didn't get out of the group. I think that was the main, in our eyes at the time, and that it was that disappointment that we didn't get out of the group. So we wanted to continue on for those Irish fans that did come and watch us, for all the fans at home to continue the journey of watching a women's team at the World Cup. We were really, really disappointed, but I think it was cool to get a point. It was fine, I guess.
Clean sheet as well, I think.
Yeah, it was a clean sheet.
Yeah. And I think one of the big things out of that game was Courtney Brosnan's performance. I mean,
oh my God,
she was incredible in goal, and I think that's the biggest thing to come out of that game was her performance and what she done for the team. It was insane. But as you said about the outrage afterwards, I mean, I don't have too much to say about it. It happens, and it did happen, and unfortunately it did. But yeah, I think at major tournaments something always happens like that, you know.
Yeah,
especially with Ireland.
Yeah,
just as both men's and women's.
I know.
It wasn't really an outrage. We just, like, you could see there was something happening and we didn't know what it was. But what we loved was you got togetherness after the Nigerian game, and you's absolutely putting Courtney on your shoulders because she was at the winning man of the match and you were at the getting you the first point. So I think it was a great feel to it at the game between you and the supporters.
100%. And yeah, I think we've always been a very close-knit team. We'll always have each other's back. We're very close, like, and I think we're even after becoming more close as a team. Yeah, it's incredible, and I think the overall feeling at that World Cup was just, again, I was just really proud to be there and to represent my country, and that was the overall feeling of just pride.
That's what you feel when you play for Ireland. Pride.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Paul, I wouldn't know. You do. Paul plays for the fans when he goes away.
I scored Ireland my first touch.
You did?
Yeah, against Finland.
Nice, Paul.
Yeah, he scored against Finland.
But did Olivia ever tell you about me playing up front with her for Shells?
No way.
And the 3 sitters I missed?
You're playing a charity game and gave Paul 3 sitters, missed every one of them.
Scored them over. I'm not a striker, to be fair. I'm more of a winger, crossing balls in, assistant.
Love that.
Yeah, not a finisher, more of a supplier. A bit like yourself, although you can finish, I can't.
Don't know about that.
But yeah, we'll get back onto it, Matt, because I'm weary of your time there. We've had you for quite a while. So
no, you're fine. You're fine.
Just kind of, where are we? Just kind of, what was the atmosphere like after all of that? You know, I think you missed the homecoming, which looked quite well, but you just kind of, was a little bit of a period between Vera coming out in the media, and then there was kind of that thing between Vera and Kate. It just didn't seem like a nice atmosphere to be in. You went a different route, like they all had to come home, but you went a different route. Obviously back to the USA.
Yeah.
You missed the O'Connell
I
Street
did. I
homecoming.
missed the homecoming, and obviously that was very disappointing. But felt like at the time I was obviously captain of the Courage. We had a game, I think, and for me, after that whole World Cup and being in that environment, I mean, it was a great environment, but being in that environment every single day, it was mentally draining, you know, for weeks upon weeks when you do that. And I wanted to get back and play the game, and I wanted to get back into routine again. And I mean, the whole from Australia to Ireland, it was a crazy amount of travel to do that and then go back to America and play. So it was best for me just to directly go back and get set again there. But I was obviously very disappointed. I missed that homecoming, and a lot of Irish fans turned up for it, and but the girls had a fantastic time, and they really enjoyed it.
Like, I thought Vera was very eccentric on the stage. I thought like she was saying goodbye.
Eccentric.
Eccentric, sorry. She thought she was basically saying goodbye. I felt. Now, I wasn't there myself. I was still in Australia as well. But I watched it on the telly. And I just thought it was about me, when it should have been just the whole team.
Yeah, to be fair, I wasn't there, but I seen some videos, and I don't know, I feel like everyone was just looking at it. I felt like everyone was just trying to enjoy it, and you know, and I didn't really looking at it, I didn't really see anything out of the ordinary. Like, we were around Vera all the time, and like that's just how Vera was as a person, and I have nothing bad to say about Vera, to be quite honest. Like, I had a good relationship with her, and she helped the team get to the first World Cup.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I had a good experience, and in the end it was the FAI's decision to not keep Vera on. And I know people keep in the public eye saying it's the players that are doing this. It's not. Like, it's really not the players doing that. It's the association's decision who they want as a coach, and I would never want to have a say in who goes manager. I would love to stay out of those conversations, you know what I mean? It's not our jobs as players to be able to say who should be here and who should be there. Our job is on the pitch, and in the end it's the association's decision, and it was their decision to not renew Vera's contract, and we just had to kind of accept that and get on with it as players, you know?
Yeah, I didn't think they were going to let her go, because me personally, I liked Vera. I spoke to her. She actually got us to our first World Cup. So we're all this going on, and then just sacking her. I just didn't get it. Like, I mean, to me, she should have been left there to do what she needs to do, because there's obviously more work to be done after a World Cup. And I just felt she would have done a great job. But obviously the FAI saw it different.
Yeah,
I thought she'd have been good.
Exactly, and as I said, I think Vera helped us get to our first World Cup. That will always be remembered. And in the end, it was the FAI's decision to do that and let Vera go. And as players, that's just how it was. Do you know what I mean?
Me personally, I think the FAI should ask the girls. Like, I mean, they're not going to say, no, I don't want to. They're not going to listen to, but even get the opinion of the player, you know, before they go into a rational decision. You know what I'm trying to say? Just even the senior players.
100%. And look, they said it a few weeks ago, there's reviews all the time after these campaigns, and speak players and coaches. And as a player, you're never going in there speaking on these reviews or whatever to try and get a manager sacked. You know what I mean? Like, that is not, I would never ever do that and want anyone to lose their job. You just have to go in there and be honest, and there's always things that can be improved, and you just have to be honest with that, and there's a lot of positives as well. But yeah, in the end, it's the FA. They can do their reviews and all that, but in the end, it's their decision what they want to do with the managers, and that's not down to us as players, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say to you there, I was happy to hear that you still have a good relationship with Vera, because, as I say, we mentioned it earlier, you don't get that many opportunities to get to a World Cup, and I think, you know, it's good that you have that respect between each other. You got there, but she helped you get there too.
Yeah, 100%, and that'll always be the way. Like, I'll always respect coaches. I think it's a tough, it's a tough job to be a coach, and in the end, yeah, Vera did help us get to a World Cup, and it didn't work out in the end, and that happens. But I still have respect for Vera, and yeah, I mean, I don't speak to her at all, like, but I still have that respect for her.
100%. Well, thought just kind of about Eileen coming in, because I'm sure she was part of the setup as well. But I definitely noticed the kind of uplift in atmosphere, kind of being around the media and stuff like that straight away when. After all the kind of World Cup and all that sort of thing coming in, was it the UEFA Nations League and then the Aviva Stadium? Like, there was a real feel-good factor about kind of coming back into the international setup.
Yeah, 100%. And look, Eileen, I really appreciate Eileen. Like, massive respect there for her. She came in, great job in Nations League B. Then we got promoted to the A group, and I think we held our own. We done really well in the A group against world-class teams. And yeah, I think Eileen really pushed a lot of things forward for us as a team. I think she done a lot of work behind the scenes for better standards for our team, and she created an environment that's been the best environment I was ever part of in a national team. So I really, really respect Eileen and what she's done.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Like, what you're saying about appreciating Eileen coming in. I think Eileen did an absolute phenomenal job. She was there already with Vera, so she got a feel of it. So I think when she came in, it was just a natural thing, and natural to use, to be as herself around that as well.
Yeah, I mean,
and listen to her and see what she wants to do.
Exactly, yeah. And she came in and really, we got so close as a team during that time. And as I said, the environment and the culture was between the players and staff was the best I've ever been part of, I think. So again, there's massive respect there, and for Eileen for sure.
It's the homecoming to me that for you in Cork.
Yeah.
And you're captain. The atmosphere. It's my first time in Cork, and I thought it was the best match that I've seen Ireland play. For atmosphere, for just around the ground.
Right.
I just thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, that was. I'm not just saying this because it was in Cork, but it was one of the best.
No, I know.
It was one of the best camps I was ever involved with. I think because we're always in Dublin, it was a change of atmosphere, a change of environment, just being somewhere else. And then I think playing in Páirc Uí Chaoimh was phenomenal. I think the atmosphere that there was really, really good, and I think more games should be played there after that. Like, it was incredible. Everyone came out to support. I'm not sure. I think there was 20,000 that night, maybe.
Yeah, 22,000.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously had all my family there, watching, and then we beat France, put in a really good performance, and it was a really, really special time. I absolutely loved playing there, and I think games should be spread out a bit more and not just in Dublin all the time. Because then you have more eyes, you get more people involved, get more support if you're around Ireland, you know what I mean? So I hope we do get to play there again, definitely.
Julianne Russell was a big part of that kind of qualification. She's after, I don't know if she's retired fully from football, but international football, I think. Well, fully, okay. But just kind of her renaissance back into the Irish team, her performance as well in those kind of games as well. To see her go is probably, I feel it's a big letdown.
Yeah, I mean, it's an incredible story, the whole Julianne Russell, her career, and having her come back into the national setup was quite amazing to see. I think Julianne as a person is really incredible, and then to see her flourish once she came back in was very, very special. And that performance she put on that night against France, scoring, assisting, and just her energy levels and her fitness levels were phenomenal. Like, it's a really inspiring story to come back from having a baby and being able to put on a performance like that and just have those fitness levels. It's really phenomenal. And she did introduce us all to her little baby Rosie as well, which was a massive thing for us, and to have her in camp a lot was really special. And I think it brought the team even closer again. But I think it's really sad to see Julianne go. I definitely think she had a bit more in her, but I am sad
100%.
to see her leave the setup, because she's just an incredible human, and she really impacted the team in a positive way.
Yeah, I was a bit taken aback that I heard that yesterday she was retired, because to me, like Joanne, Julie has 2 or 3 years left, and I'm like, good years.
Yeah.
But you're talking about our mentality. I was reading yesterday, our due date on Rosie, she's a CrossFit class. A CrossFit class.
I'm not surprised,
on our due date. I said, that's the mentality of her, you know what I mean? Because I like you, I think she's phenomenal. She has a stamina that I've never seen in anyone. She can run 3/4 pace for 90 minutes.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? I think she's brilliant. And I'm so sad to see that she's retired, because, as I said, she's another 2 to 3 good years in her.
I know these past few months, honestly, have been all these retirements coming out. It's been an emotional time, and I mean, especially the players as well, like Niamh Fahey, Diane Caldwell, now Julie, like really established players, leaders on the team that not only have helped us on the pitch, but have done so much off the pitch as well. Just to see them retire, it's sad. Yeah,
you've been through like it all together. But again, we're going to come into the last couple of questions. Eileen, as her contract wasn't renewed by the FAI, and Colin Healy, I know you've been kind of vocal about him being, well, it was said he was offered a job then, and Mark Adams since came out and said he hasn't. But you had done a couple of interviews just speaking about how much he was integral to the Irish team.
Yeah.
And kind of, what are your thoughts there with him?
Yeah, 100%. Look, first and foremost, I think, like, speaking about coaches being let go and stuff, I think that's normal. It's business, right? It's part of the game, and you want to get results. But I think it was the manner that it was done in. I think it was disrespectful. I think it lacked class. I think it lacked compassion. I think working with Colin, I don't have one bad thing to say about him. He was an incredible man, really excellent coach. But I don't even want to go into the coaching side, because everyone that knows Colin knows how good of a coach he is. But it's more of the human side that I'm like, he was a really genuine and honest man. A lot of the players really respected him, and he's had a massive impact on me as a player. So I was really sad to see that happen, and I think the way he was treated, it's unfair, and it definitely it lacked a lot of class to me, and it was so disrespectful to do that. And yeah, I'm just really gutted for Colin. Really, I think it's a step backwards. Like, I think there is a way to do things, and there's a way to treat people, and it wasn't the right thing to do. And I'm really disappointed that it happened the way it did. And I love playing for Ireland, but I think this is a step backwards, and I love playing for my country, but it left a bad taste in my mouth how that happened.
Yeah, it's just your football. But I know where you're coming from, Denise. I think he was treated so wrong and so disrespectful for what he's had to give to the girls over the last 4 to 5 years. And then just like that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, every what's the word? That Colin has, the passion, the coaching. What else do you need of a coach to be a coach?
Yeah.
Do you know? So to me, it was a personal thing. Nothing got to do with his ability to coach, his ability to speak to people.
No, he was a phenomenal, really good coach. Like, I can say that, an excellent coach, and highly respected. Like, what he's done for football in general in Ireland for the past, I don't know how many years. Anyone you speak to, Colin's really highly regarded. So yeah, I was very disappointed to see that happen to him. And as I said again, like, it's not about them letting a coach go. That happens in football. It's just part and parcel of it. And but there's a manner in the way you treat people. There's a manner in the way you do things, and I think it could have been done very, very different. Because he is a great man, and what he's dedicated all last year to the national team, with the challenges he faced as a person in his life last year. And it's a person's welfare. Like, it's their family. It affects their family, and when that happens, I need to speak about it. I can't just stay quiet, and that's why I have voiced my opinion on that, because I would be disappointed in myself and if I didn't speak up on that situation, and I think it was handled really poorly in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head there. But I did say before, I'm just conscious of your time, so we're gonna kind of finish up on some questions there. You've already answered a bit about the Welsh game, considering at the start, so you kind of spoke about that. But just Carla Ward coming in, and kind of what would you like to see next in terms of Ireland?
Yeah, I'm really excited for Carla. She seems like a really good person. I had a phone call with her, and very positive person. I think she's all about players first, and caring for players, and I think that's really important for the team. And I don't know Carla too well, but I've obviously known that she was Aston Villa coach, and heard a lot of good things about her, and really excited really to get started with her and push this team to new levels and see where we can go.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to her coming in, Denise, as well, and see what she can do with the team. Our record is very good, like with Villa, and then she went over to the Olympics with Emma Hayes. I'm assuming that was to get experience with a national team. So she might bring what she learned over there into the Irish camp.
100%.
And could bring in something completely different, which is good for the team.
Definitely, yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. Look, it's a new challenge for us all. It's a big challenge for Carla, and as I said, it's a fresh start. She's coming in, and hopefully, as I said, we can take the team to new levels and play her what Carla's vision is. But I think we're all positive about it, and we're all really excited.
But just lastly, we're just going to ask you about the courage and just kind of what are you expecting to achieve there over the next while now? And
MVP, Challenge Cup, League.
Yeah.
Go for all, Denise.
I think obviously you want to win championships, and you want to win trophies. And as the captain of the team, of course, I want to do that. But it's a very competitive league, so I'm just looking forward to getting started with the team again, getting games under our belts, and every year it looks a bit different. There's a bit of turnover, so we have new players coming in. I'm really excited to work with those new players, younger players as well, who are young but a lot of experience, and really good players. So I'm just excited to lead the team again, and hopefully do really well and win trophies.
I reckon you will win a trophy this year. He was very unlucky this year. He's got beaten in the playoff.
Yeah. I mean, we got to the playoff last year, but got to the quarterfinals. We got knocked out in the first round against Kansas away from home, and it was definitely very disappointing. But as I said, it's a really competitive league, and even to get into the playoffs is very difficult. So yeah, we want to obviously go a step further again this year, and of course the championship is the goal.
Absolutely.
I think with the last question you wanted to ask Denise, when's the wedding?
Yeah, when's the wedding?
He's not here right now, so I can say no. I'm joking. I don't know.
Another thing, Denise, the WSL.
Yeah.
A few rumours going around you might be coming over. Did you have a think about it, or did you put it to the side?
At the time, 100%. I was out of contract with the Courage, or at the end of my contract, I should say, the last few months, and there was talks with some teams over there, and of course I got an offer here with the Courage, and you just have to kind of weigh up the pros and cons of when you do get offers from different teams and your own team, and in the end it was just the Courage. It was my loyalty runs here and with this team, and I just thought it was the best thing for me to continue on with this team. I think, as I said at the beginning, like the train environment, I think is probably one of the best in the world. I can say that. It's unbelievable, and I think that's why I come into camp every time really fit and sharp. It's because of the environment here. So yeah, there was definitely talks about it, but decided obviously to stay with the Courage.
Yeah, you never know. It's still early. Like, you give us a year in the WSL, Manchester United.
You never know. I am pushing on now. I'm 30 now. I'm almost 31.
Yeah, you never know, Denise.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, listen, Denise, we've kind of gone a little bit over time, so I just want to say a huge thanks. This has been our first podcast, and we couldn't have asked for a better guest. I think we'll do well to better this. So thank you so much for your time. And Olivia, if you want to.
Denise, thanks very much. And I know I've have you coached the last 3 weeks to do the podcast, but it's just a little hiccup. So now we're at getting through, and thanks very much. Really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks guys. It's been great. Good conversation, but appreciate you having me on, and I'll speak to you soon.